Here's why you should check out the new useSuspenseQuery in React Query version 5. You'll see here that we have a UI where we import the useQuery hook, and TypeScript's actually mad at us because post is possibly undefined. That's because useQuery can't guarantee that that data is going to be available until our asynchronous function getPost returns. So what we usually have to do is something like optional chaining, or sometimes we can just say if there's no post, then return null. But we actually could instead import this useSuspenseQuery hook right here. And what this is doing is sort of shifting the handling of loading or rendering our loading state off to React. So if we go into our app component, we're importing this suspense component that was introduced in React 18, and we give it a fallback. That means that this UI down here is never going to show until the useSuspenseQuery hook tells React to no longer render this UI here. So what we can do now is remove this, and TypeScript is no longer mad at us. And then we also don't even have to worry about rendering the loading state because we're catching in that app component. So just to show you, now if we reload our UI here, we get our spinner, and then as soon as our data becomes available, we see our post. Now, the way that this works is similar to context, if you're familiar with that, where React sort of walks up the tree and tries to find the first suspense component and then renders that fallback UI. So we've got a like, comment, share component here, and I've actually set it up so that it returns its data a little bit later than the post data. So you'll see it's also using the useSuspenseQuery hook, which means that in here we can render a new suspense. And then instead of it catching at our app component suspense, so sort of like our global fallback, now we can sort of like fine tune this so that React can now show the UI it does have available, and then later, once this data becomes available, it can pull this component out of suspense. So just to show you what that looks like, we'll load, and you'll see our global spinner, and then this UI loads until that data is ready, and then we've got everything displaying. So that's the new useSuspense hook with React Query. Again, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a pretty great syntax, and it's great knowing that we can sort of offload this handling, showing and hiding our loading UI to React and sort of let its internals take care of optimizing those types of things.